My name is Erin. I'm on our mid-market implementation team. So I will be presenting everything we have launched in 2025 so far in CompanyCam. We'll start with our agenda today. If you're not seeing things in the agenda that you thought were going to be covered, check out our classes page to view old recordings or other classes with the information. Today, we will really just be focusing on these new features in 2025. We're going to start out with checklist functionalities. We're going to dive into page enhancements after that, and then we'll jump into reviews and connecting to your Google reviews. Next, we're going to go into portfolio features, which includes showcases. You guys might know a little bit about those. We will then go into translations and language capabilities in CompanyCam, text scanning, and then we will wrap up with some new integrations we've got that have come out so far this year. So we are going to go ahead and dive in. We will be looking at both web and mobile today in CompanyCam. So I'm going to try to keep both on our screen here, but I will kind of minimize our web screen as we're looking at the mobile app. So you're going to see mobile on the left side of the screen here. So with starting out today, we're going to dive into checklist functionalities. We are not going to cover any of the basics, so I'm going to jump right into a project here. And within our project, we're going to go to that checklist tab. In checklist, you're going to see a couple new things. We've got, if you hit that plus checklist option, you're going to see a new option that uses AI, so you can use talk to text. Before I dive into this too much, I did just want to touch base once more. If you guys are not seeing these features on your end, or if you're seeing a lightning bolt next to these features, you might not be on a plan that has these features. Everything available that we're going over today is going to be on the elite tier of CompanyCam. Some of these features will be on our premium tier, and then we also have a pro tier. So if you're not seeing all of this functionality in CompanyCam, if you have questions on this, if you want to go a little bit more in depth on what plan you're on, you can always look at your billing page on the web version of CompanyCam. You'll click your user icon, go to billing here if you're an admin, or reach out to your customer success manager. They would love to set up more one-on-one time to go over what features are going to be most helpful for you and your team. Sorry, now diving back into our checklist here, we're going to jump back into the mobile app. So in mobile, we are in that checklist tab in our project here. I'm going to go to plus checklist. Something new you're seeing in checklist is that generate with AI talk. So this is going to allow me to simply speak to my phone, and based on what I am saying, it is going to create a checklist that my team can then fill out. So I'll select this option, and it's going to begin recording. So today we're going to plan our checklist of what needs to get done for landscaping on this job. We need to make sure that today we replace the sod by the pool. We need to add pavers on the northwest corner, and we need to pour the cement sidewalk from the house to the pool. When our team comes back tomorrow, we're going to make sure to water in that sod. We're going to add plantings on the south side of the house, and we want to make sure that pavers are settling well around the pool. So I was just saying things that need to get done. It was listening to what I was saying, and when I needed it to pause, I just hit that pause at the bottom. Now you've got some options here. I could hit cancel if I decide I don't need this checklist. I could hit resume and keep adding things to our checklist. Or if I hit done here, it's going to use AI to take what I was saying, build this checklist, and then the team can start working on it. So I can click this checklist now, see that it used AI to summarize what I was saying. So it gives me some landscaping tasks that are immediate. Those are the ones that I mentioned need to get done today. It gave me a new section when I said there's things we need to touch on the next day. So this is going to be a really easy way of creating those checklists. You do still have that option to add a new field if you need to. If you're the admin or manager creating these, you can always click into this item. You'll see the option that you can go in and add questions that need to be answered. You can require photos for certain items. When you hit that back button, it will save those edits to your checklist. So really easy way to create a quick checklist or punch list tied to a specific job here that your team can start working on. That's one of our newer features with checklists. The next thing I want to point out is our walkthrough note and the capability to turn that into a checklist. So if we are looking at the mobile app again and we go to pages, some of you might be familiar when we hit that plus pages option, we've got our walkthrough note here at the bottom. So I can be taking photos and saying things that need to get done on a job. These walkthrough notes can now be converted into a checklist. So I'll quickly create a walkthrough, and then we'll convert it here. So today, start recording now. We're going to replace this table. We need to come in and clean the carpet. And later on today, we are going to clean these windows. When we come back next week, we're going to replace this beam in the center of the windows, and we need to paint the ceiling. And we're also going to put new items on the windows rather than these dots. So I was taking photos and speaking as I went, just hit done at the top there. When I am done with this walkthrough, it's using AI to summarize this for me. Sorry, I hit back one too many times there. We're going to go back into those pages. You'll see it's creating my walkthrough note for me. What it's going to do once this has been created is it will allow me to take those actionable items and turn them into a checklist. So if I open this up, it will give me that option here. 3 dots in the top right. Again, that's always your menu option in CompanyCam. And you can hit that create checklist. It will take these bullet points, build a checklist for me that our team can then work on. This does give me the ability to rename the checklist. And then it also has a description area of what it's going to do organizing this checklist. So I'll create this. It will move those items into the checklist and it opens it up for me so it's ready to go. You will still have the ability to edit this if you need to make changes, just like you could when you were using that talk to checklist option. These are some of the new exciting features in Checklist, going to make it really easy to create things on the fly that your team can use right away. Are there any questions on some of these newer checklist functionalities? Okay, we are going to move right along here. We're going to jump into page enhancements. So Pages in CompanyCam is going to be a really helpful way of getting information gathered into one spot, and you can send these outside of your CompanyCam account. If you guys have not used Pages before, I highly recommend. Some of the things you're going to see in Pages that have been existing is you can go into Pages and create a page from a template, and then we've got AI options. Some of the new things in Pages are going to be under Use a Template. We now have trade-specific templates. So when you click that templates option, you're going to see little libraries at the top. You've got your company templates that your admins and managers have created, and then you've got these example templates. If you click example templates, we have created a total of 30 ready-to-use templates that are across 15 different trades. So if you are a roofer needing a warranty card, maybe you're a plumber submitting an invoice on site, we've got quite a few examples here. So we do have, everything is alphabetized. So if we go in here and I want to look for templates regarding adjusting, cleaning services, concrete, electrical, you can search at the top, but they are in this list alphabetically. You can select that template you need for a page. And now I can begin working on this. It's pulled it into my project. I can hit use at the top right. It's going to drop it in for me to start using here in my project. Easy way to grab those pages. I know sometimes it can be hard to create a brand new page from scratch. You're looking at a blank page and you think, what do I need? So this will be a good place to start. You can make the edits that you need, but you've got a good template to get started there. Any questions on finding those templates? Okay. So those are some of our new page templates that are going to be more trade specific. The next thing I want to jump into in Pages is that you can now add your photo descriptions when you are adding photos to a page. For this, we're going to look at the web version of CompanyCam. So this is web specific right now. I'll jump into my project. We're going to go to that Pages tab. If I open one of my pages here, and let's say I am adding more photos, I'm going to click into a blank spot on this page. At the bottom here is all of your edit options for the page. We're going to hit that add photos. I can go in and select individual images. You can also go in and select a day's worth of photos if you click that date at the top here. Once I've selected what I need, I hit next, choose layout. It's going to give me some different layout options on how I want these displayed. Biggest thing to note here is these first 3, where it says 1 per row, 2 per row, or 3 per row, give you the ability to include those photo descriptions. The gallery will not allow for those descriptions, so you just want to make sure that you're selecting one of these first 3 here. We'll select that. We'll turn on that include photo descriptions. You do have the ability to change the photo size or layout, whether you want those to be square or the original photos. And then I'll hit add at the bottom right. It's dropped my original photos in. Some of them didn't have descriptions. So you've got area where you can add additional notes. You'll see this one had notes that loaded in. This one also had some notes that loaded in for me automatically. So really easy way to get your photo descriptions added to a page so you can easily share those. Next thing I want to point out, we kind of did this already, but we can bulk upload photos into a page. So I was able to go in and hit that add photos and select multiple images to add them to the page. It's just going to help speed up that process so I can add all of my photos from today. Choose my layout here. We'll go with the gallery this time, and I'm going to add my photos. This way, you're not trying to add images one by one, forgetting which ones you've added. You can select all at once and then drop them in here. Final thing I want to point out with the pages or the photos when you're adding them here is you will have the ability to edit the size of these photos. So I can go in and select, maybe I want this gallery to display large images. I can select that. This is also something that can be done in the mobile app. So if we switch over to mobile here, I'm going to open one of my pages. If I click on a section where there are photos, you'll see those options appear here. So I can do either square photos or original. And then I've got my photo sizes here, so I can switch these to large images for that specific section. You'll see that it is photo specific, or excuse me, section specific for these photos. So this specific section I changed to large images. These photos down below are still set as small, so I could change these to extra large, maybe medium sized. So it's going to be each section of photos that you can adjust the size on there. Final thing that I want to touch on in the pages that's new for us is within a page as you are editing, you can now use your snippets. If you have not used snippets before, if you're not familiar with those in CompanyCam, think of it as an internal copy paste option. You can create snippets in CompanyCam that are then usable to paste into your reports or your pages now. So if I have a snippet that's created, I don't want to type out a bunch of information. I tend to type out on each page. When we are in our notes section here, the icon at the bottom that's those 3 lines with the star in the bottom corner is going to be your snippets icon. It will pull up my snippet library. I can select what I need here, hit add at the top right. If you need to create a new snippet, you'll see that option at the bottom as well. I'll drop this in. Now it's added all of this information that was part of that snippet. So I can type in next to that what I need rather than retyping that text every time I need it. This can also be done on the web version of CompanyCam. So if you are looking at a page, you're adding notes here, same icon down at the bottom, 3 lines with the little star. When you hover over it, it'll say use text snippets there to drop in any text that you might want to add. Any questions on our page enhancements?
We do have 2.
Okay.
One, maybe a little bit more of a disclaimer again, if you can kind of talk through the 2 ways you're using the app and the desktop.
Yeah.
And maybe just show where pages are in the mobile app again, that would be great. And then how can you find those templates on the desktop?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to quickly cover again. I know I'm sharing a lot on my screen right now. On the left side of my screen, you are seeing the app version of CompanyCam. So this is the mobile app. I'm sharing my phone device. On the right side of our screen, you're seeing the web version of CompanyCam. So I'm logged in on Chrome, just at app.companycam.com. So that's what we're seeing on the screen here. I will be switching between the 2 of them a little bit. I will try to make the web screen bigger if we're focusing on web, and then I will make sure to point out that we are on mobile here on the left side of the screen. And then the other question was going over the page templates. So in the mobile app, pages are within a project. You go to the Pages tab here, hit that plus page, and you're going to see the Use a Template option. If you are in the web version of CompanyCam, you're going to start again in a project, select that project here. You'll go to the Pages tab. I can hit Create Page, and then you'll see that Use a Template here as well. This again will pull up the different libraries. So you've got all of your templates. Your company would be the ones that your admins and managers have created specifically. And then the example templates are going to be the ones we have built out here at CompanyCam that are trait specific. Any other questions on those pages? Okay, we are going to move on to our next new feature. So we're going to touch on reviews in CompanyCam. We will be covering this in both web and mobile. Because we're already looking at the web, we're going to start here. So if you have a project in CompanyCam that you want to have a client create a review for, you're going to start by opening this project. On the project screen here at the top corner, you're going to see request review. When I click on this, you'll be able to select a location. This is more helpful if you've got maybe multiple companies using one CompanyCam account. Maybe you've got 3 different branches in 3 different cities. You guys all use one CompanyCam account, but you've got 3 different Google accounts for those specific locations. You can add those Google business locations here. So your Google reviews will be location specific. You start by selecting the one that relates to this specific review. Once you've selected that, you can type in your message of what you want to send to your customer, and then you can add photos that they will be able to download and add to your Google review. I have added photos when I started doing this earlier today. So these photos saved here, I could go in and remove some of these photos just by hovering over and clicking that minus sign. I can also hit add photos to select new photos for this. Hit confirm. It'll drop these in. I can type in the message I want to send, and then I can copy this review link. This will allow me to paste it in an email, or if I'm doing it from my phone, I could do it by text. This will allow me to share that out. This customer preview is what we're going to click on to show you what it looks like when your client receives this message. So you send the link, they open the link, and this is what they are seeing. This would be your message that you sent. This would be your CompanyCam logo. And then you've got the photos that you sent over to them. What you want to make sure they do is save these photos to their device. They'll hit that review us on Google. This will open your Google reviews. They can go in and type in a review. They can add those photos, so they will need to upload those photos that they downloaded before, and then it will post to your Google reviews. This is really helpful when it comes to like upping your SEO game with marketing. Photos in reviews is really helpful to get your business to rank higher. So highly recommend including those photos and advising them to add them to their Google review. It's going to be an easy way for folks to quickly review the work you did for them, and it posts directly to your Google there. That is everything from the web version of CompanyCam. We're going to switch over to mobile and I'll show you the same thing. So we're looking at the left side of our screen here. I am in my project in CompanyCam. We're going to hit the 3 dots in the top right corner. You're going to see that second option from the top says request review. When we click on this, very similar to what we were seeing on the web, you can add your message here, select your photos that you'd like to share. Biggest difference of what you're going to see in the mobile app is you actually have this option to scan a QR code at the bottom corner. So if you're talking to the client and you want them to see this right away, you can hit that scan QR, pulls up a QR code, they could pull their phone out and scan it and start typing that review right away. So that's really helpful if they're standing next to you and they want to do that. Otherwise, you can hit that send link. I'm on my mobile phone, so it is going to show me share options here. So it's giving me the option to share this with my contacts in my phone. I can message this if I would like to. I could send it in an email, or I could copy that link, send it in an email. So these are some of our share options there. Again, sharing that out, and then they fill out the Google review with the link you've sent. Any questions on reviews? Okay. Next thing we are going to jump into is portfolio features in CompanyCam. Some of you may have seen kind of our basic form of this feature that we've had for quite a while is our showcases in CompanyCam. It's gotten quite an upgrade here in the last few months, so we want to make sure we dive into this a little bit. We're going to start in the web version of CompanyCam. So in your toolbar on the left side, under the marketing tab, you're going to see portfolio. When we click on portfolio, there's a few different options here. First thing I want to point out at the very top here is the portfolio site information. The portfolio site, the portfolio map, and the showcases down here are going to be kind of what create these items that can be shared out. So to help create all of these, you do want to start with showcases. To create a showcase on a project, go to that project, open that up. and you're going to see the option here at the top that says showcase this project. When you click on this, it's going to allow you to add a title, your project type, products used, and description. These items are up to you. I will say in the project type and the products used, there's a drop-down menu. If you're not seeing what you need here, you can type what you need and it will save it as a project type moving forward. Once you have added, so I'll add a quick couple here. We'll add a couple products. We're going to add paint as well. The description is optional. Then we're going to go in and add our photos. This is going to allow us to select exactly what photos we want shared out with this. So I can either hover over these images, click that box in the top corner, or again, select that date in the top corner for all the photos from that day. We're going to hit confirm at the bottom right. We'll add these photos and then I can change my thumbnail photo if I would like to select a specific image. Once I've added the photos I need, I hit create at the bottom right. Now that our showcase is created, you'll see at the top center, it says edit showcase rather than create. So this is existing. Next, we're going to go to that portfolio tab. The showcase is really helpful when it comes to building these other items out and displaying them on your website. So the showcase powers our portfolio site, portfolio map, and the gallery. So the first thing we're going to cover is the portfolio site. This is going to be really helpful if you guys don't have a website that you share out. Maybe you don't have a live website, you only use social media, but you want to share portfolio of your work with a customer. You can go to this portfolio page, click next to that portfolio site. You can either hit open if you'd like to view that or hit copy link so they can see that. We're going to open this so you can see what it looks like from your end. This would be what it looks like when you share out. This is going to be those projects that I created showcases for are available. As a reminder, this is not all of the projects in your CompanyCam account. It is very specifically the projects you have created showcases for and that you have the showcases turned on. This will show that gallery of projects on the left side. You can click into this to see that project information and the photos. Or we can go back here. Sorry, I've got my Zoom bar in the way. Give me just a second here. So we can go back into our project here, see that portfolio site, and I can see the map where I can zoom in and out to see the areas those projects are located in. So a couple easy ways to share. Again, that portfolio site is really helpful if you don't have a website, but you want to be able to share your portfolio of projects out with customers really easily. You just copy that link, send it in an email or a text. The next thing you're going to see on this page is the portfolio map. You'll see the option in the top right corner here to add map to your website. What this is going to do is it's going to allow you to either install the code yourself. If you click on this, it will give you that code that you need. It'll give you information on where that code needs to be as well. So you can copy that, paste it into the code of your website. The other option you have here is we actually work with a third party that will help you install this on your website. So you can hit that schedule free installation. They will help get that installed where you'd like it on your website, and you should be good to go. This would display this specific map on your website. Wherever you put that code on your website is where it will display. So then potential customers can zoom in and out on that map, see the neighborhoods you've worked in, cities you've worked in, easily see what's going on. When they are zooming in on this map here, they're going to be able to click those projects. And just like that portfolio site, they can see those photos there. One thing I want to point out here at the bottom is we've got the showcases that we had created. These showcases that we have published are the ones that are live on the portfolio site and on the map. So if we created this one just today, I decided I don't want this on my website just yet. Simply turn that off there. It moves it to the bottom of the list, and it's not going to be live on your website anymore with that map or the portfolio site there. If you need to create a new showcase, you can do that from this button here. And then that final option here is going to be to add a gallery to your website. This would just be the same galleries with the showcases, photos, and project descriptions you can add to your website. I am going to show you a link here we've got to our CompanyCam demo account that's going to have just a little bit more information for you so you can kind of see what these items look like. If you add the map to your website, it's going to look like this. You've got those galleries, and then folks can zoom in and out on this map to see the areas you've worked, kind of move around here. If you add the gallery specifically, or what was previously known as showcases in CompanyCam, you're going to see this Our Latest Projects section. You can filter by project types, products used, and city and state. You'll be able to see those photos, click on that project and see all images here. You can jump back and you'll see a scroll bar at the bottom so you can click through the different projects that you have live on your website there. I know that's a lot of information. I do highly recommend using these features. It's going to help add more information to your website when you're sharing your portfolio out, when you're adding these items to your website. Makes it a lot easier to get your photos from CompanyCam to your website, to your customers' hands, to your potential customers' hands. So, any questions on our portfolio features on web?
For the portfolios, kind of related to reviews, but since they show up on portfolios, um, do customers have to have a Google account to review through the app?
They will need a Google account to review through the app. So if you send that link to them, it will have, like typically on your phone, if you're already logged into your Google account, it'll use that Google account you're logged into so they can write that review. If they don't have one, it will prompt them to set up a Google account. Then when they write that review, it would show like their name tied to that specific review. The other thing with this portfolio site kind of tied in here is when we're looking at the portfolio site, you will see the map and the gallery. You do have an about section that will tie into those reviews. So we'll pull those Google reviews to the about section so you guys can see those reviews in one spot. Then it's easier for potential clients to see all of your great reviews. Any other questions on those on the web version? Okay. We are going to go over this just a little bit in the mobile app. I just want to show you how to share and publish in the mobile app specifically. So if you guys do have a portfolio site, which you would if you are on, I believe, that elite tier of CompanyCam, you want to share out from mobile, you're out in the field, you want somebody to see it right away. If you scroll down to the bottom of your home screen, you're going to see a new section here that says marketing. You've got that portfolio site. You can either hit share or open. If you are not seeing that, hit edit home screen at the bottom. You'll see it listed in these options. And if you're not seeing that quite yet, maybe your app hasn't updated, hit that reset default order and it should update for you. So you see that marketing section so you can share that out. Any questions on that? Okay, we are going to jump into translations and language capabilities in CompanyCam. We've got some new capabilities that are really exciting when you've got teams who speak different languages and need to be able to communicate. We're going to start with the translations in comments and conversations. So in our project here, we go to that chat bubble at the bottom right. When you send a message here, you are typing that message, you're sending it in the language that your phone is sent to. If I send a message to my colleague Bree, but Bree's phone is in Spanish, the new translation feature in this conversation will be my message that I typed in English will appear on Bree's phone in Spanish because her phone is set to Spanish. That way she can read the message in the language that her phone is set to. If she'd like to see the original, you will see an icon here or a little note that says see original or see translation. So if Bree sent me a message in Spanish, it would translate it to English so I could read it on my end here. It's going to help with the communication of your team. You'll still be able to click and see that original message if you would like to. So this is going to be available here in the comments section when you are using comments and conversations there. You're also going to see that capability in tasks in CompanyCam. So if you are adding a task, you're adding that in English, but Bree's phone is set to Spanish. Bree will see that in Spanish now on her phone. So very exciting, easy way to communicate with your team without having to go outside of CompanyCam to translate these items and create your tasks. Next thing I want to touch on is pages. You have the ability to change the language you are viewing pages in. We're going to start in the web version of this. If we go to our projects here, I'm going to jump into an existing page. We'll jump into this page that we had created. When I go to share this, I'm going to hit share. I'm going to view my page here. This will open it in a web browser. You will now see a language option in the top corner. When I click on this, I can switch this page from English to Spanish. So now it is translating the text I had on that page to Spanish, so other folks will be able to read this page as well. Really helpful if you're sharing this out with your clients, or maybe you're sharing it with collaborators you're working with, subs that you're working with. It'll take a couple seconds, but it will translate that page for you, have it ready for them to view in either English or Spanish there. It'll take just a second here. I apologize. Any questions on these so far? Okay. We're gonna let that load for just a minute. I do want to show you that is available on the mobile app too. So if you're looking at a page here, open my page up, I hit that share option at the top. I can share that link. I am just going to open this in Chrome here. And then you'll see that same option where I can translate this at the very top. I can switch the language here. So it won't be directly in CompanyCam. You will need to open that in a web browser, and then you can switch the language there. One thing I do want to point out with the languages here, the next thing we're going to cover is the quick caption and walkthrough options in CompanyCam. We've added some languages there. So as your team is using quick caption as they take photos, give me just a second here. As your team is taking photos in CompanyCam, if they're using quick caption, we now have a lot more languages available for folks. So if you are taking your photos, so if I open my camera, I'm taking my photo and I'm using this description option with the microphone here. This is now going to pick up different languages. So it used to just be English before. Now this quick caption option is going to be, it's supported in English, Spanish, French, German, Hindi, Russian, Portuguese, Japanese, Italian, and Dutch. So if I was speaking a different language now, it would be gathering that and then it would add it as a description on my photo here. So we've got a lot of new languages with that quick caption. That will work with quick caption when capturing your photos. It will also work when I use pages. I add my page here and I do a walkthrough note. It will be those same languages that are able to be added in the notes there. Unfortunately, I don't speak any of those languages other than English, so I can't demo that, and I do apologize. But if you do, I highly recommend testing it out. It's very cool to see. Are there any questions on translations and language capabilities? Okay, awesome. Just got a couple things left here, so I appreciate everybody hanging with me. I know we're getting a little close on time. The next thing I want to go over is text scanning. So we are going to focus in the mobile app here. So again, the left side of our screen. We are in our project. Text scanning is going to be really helpful if you work with certain machinery. Maybe you're an HVAC, you need a unit number for an AC unit. Maybe you have a furnace that needs to be replaced and you need to see what was previously at that residence. When you take a picture in CompanyCam, you now have text scanning. So if I open my camera here, I'm using a receipt as an example, but pretend this is a label on our furnace unit. When I take my picture here and I hit done, my photo is going to be in with my project photos here. I'm going to open this full screen. You're going to see, sorry, you're going to see this option in the bottom right side. It's a little circle with a T in it. This is used for text scanning. So you'll see all the text on this image has been highlighted. When I click a specific item, it copies that line item. So I have that text now. I could click maybe add a description. And if I click on my phone here, I can paste this in. So instead of me trying to remember the number that was on that receipt or the text that was on that receipt, I can simply copy that, paste it into my description. Maybe I wanted to send a note about a specific number. So I've got this item number, I copied that. I want to send that to my colleague Bree. I can hit that chat bubble at the bottom left. I'm going to mention Bree here. And I'm going to paste that item number, leave a quick note, and I'll post this. Bree would get that notification and then she'd have that number. She doesn't have to look through that receipt and think, okay, which item did I need to order? I put that in the notes for her so she can easily see that item number. Again, really helpful if you're working in HVAC. Maybe you need to grab a warranty number. Maybe you need a product number on something you're looking at. So take a picture of that. You can use that text scanning to grab those items. One big thing to note with this text scanning is different than scanning items in as a PDF. So this is specifically taking a photo of these items and then you text scan that item. If you need this saved as a PDF, it's still going to be open that camera, use that scan option at the bottom left to scan that whole receipt in as a PDF. So two different things there. Any questions on text scanning? Perfect. Final thing we're going to touch on here is some of our new integrations. We're not going to fully dive into everything today because we've got a lot that have come out in the last 6.5 months. So here is a list of our new integrations we've launched so far in 2025. Really exciting to see some of these come through. Google Drive has been used quite a bit from what I have seen. I know I've seen quite a few folks using Dropbox. Service Titan was a really big one for us. So if any of these are softwares you use and you'd like to integrate them with CompanyCam, or learn more about how the integrations work, visit companycam.com/integrations to learn more and view our setup guides if you want to get Service Titan linked with your CompanyCam or Pro line. You'll be able to view our help docs to get those set up. That is everything we've got for you today on the agenda. Are there any final questions that we want to cover?
No, we're gonna answer.
Okay, we're getting everything answered in the Q&A. We really appreciate you guys sending through those questions. Want to just cover really quickly some additional CompanyCam resources. So moving forward, if you guys have any follow-up questions on today's class, maybe you've got some questions on integrations, reach out to our support team. They are wonderful. You can email them at support@companycam.com. You can also chat with them in the mobile app or on the web. If you have questions, maybe you have folks on your team who speak Spanish and you want resources for them, go to our help site. It's help.companycam.com/ES is Spanish/EN is English. So you can see all of our help docs in both English and Spanish. We also have CompanyCam classes in Spanish. So visit companycam.com/classes for those. And then we've got training videos in Spanish as well on our CompanyCam Help Center on YouTube. All of these links that you're seeing on our screen have been dropped in the chat if you would like to follow, maybe bookmark some of these. To read how-to articles, again in English or Spanish, it's help.companycam.com. Watch any videos, you've got your CompanyCam Help Center on YouTube. We've got a ton of training videos, and then our recorded trainings of these classes as well. To get personalized training, if you have specific questions on your account, maybe you're currently on our Pro tier, you like some of these new features and you want to move up to Premium, have any questions on your billing, your account, or how to use these features, reach out to your customer success manager. If you don't know who that is, email success@companycam.com. We'll get you introduced to the right person there.